The yoga industry is growing by leaps and bounds. Currently, there are 3 different types of business models that are proliferating in the market. The first business model that is very popular is the influencer business model. In this business model, the entire business is all about the teacher. The marketing, the PR, the branding, everything is geared towards identifying who the teacher is and highlighting their strengths. The second type of business model that is very popular right now is the online subscription business model. In this particular business model, the owner of the business or the yoga teacher will develop online content and market the online content for subscription. This model provides sustainable income over a long period of time and takes the emphasis and focus off the teacher and places it on the teacher's values and their product line. The third type of business model that is currently in the market is the brick-and-mortar business model. In this business model, the teacher will typically open a studio or a therapy center and offer in-person private classes and group classes. In my opinion, there are pros and cons to each of these different business models. In the influencer business model, the entire focus is placed on the teacher, the influencer. The teacher becomes the primary focus for all of the marketing materials and branding. In my opinion, this can be a slippery slope. In yoga, we are giving of ourselves. It's a service to the community, and the principal teachings of yoga tell us that it should always be about the student. Our focus should always be on the student and other people. When we flip our focus and begin to focus on ourselves, we run the risk of developing egoism. From a yogic perspective, the influencer business model is less desirable than a more collective and comprehensive business model. That being said, it can be the most lucrative of the 3 business models if the yoga teacher has created on-demand products that can be sold for passive income. The second business model is my personal favorite. In the second business model, the yoga teacher creates an online platform and online content and delivers this content in a subscription model. This is a win-win for everybody, in my opinion. The yoga teacher gets to focus her efforts on her students and what her community is looking to learn about, and she gets to generate content that will provide her with passive income. This particular business model is the least likely to promote egoism and the most likely to uplift collective consciousness. In the brick-and-mortar business model, we have a lot of overhead, which can stimulate our natural fear response and create stress around operating our business. The brick-and-mortar business model is my least favorite business model just because of the risk associated with opening a brick-and-mortar studio. That being said, if it is done correctly, it can be extremely beneficial to both the community and the business owner. Regardless of which type of business model you want to adopt for your business, the first step is to decide whether or not your business is going to be for profit or a nonprofit. For-profit businesses are easy to start and require very little legal help. Nonprofits require a lot of legal expertise. It requires that you file certain articles with the state and federal government, and it requires that you have a board to make important decisions regarding the nonprofit and the way that its money is spent. For-profit businesses are much easier to start and get off the ground than nonprofits are. Oftentimes, nonprofits will operate for 10 or more years in the red, not making any money and having very small revenue margins. If you decide to go the route of a for-profit business, you're going to want to determine whether or not you're going to create an LLC or a sole proprietorship. There are several other types of businesses that you can create, but these are the 2 most common. If you decide that you want to create a sole proprietorship, there's not much that you need to do. At the end of the year, you'll be filing a Schedule C to justify all of your self-employed income. If you decide to formulate an LLC, you will have to spend some money creating a legal business. In this scenario, the cost associated with starting your LLC will be around $1,400, maybe a little bit more. At the end of the year, you'll still file a Schedule C, as income from an LLC is looked at as self-employed income. The benefit of creating an LLC is that your personal assets are protected. In a sole proprietorship, if you are sued, your personal assets can be taken, depending on who the lawsuit favors. In an LLC, a limited liability company, the liability rests within the company and does not extend to your personal property. This means that if you own a house, a car, a boat, or anything else of value, and you get sued, your personal property, your house, your car, your boat, any other personal property that you have of value cannot be seized as assets to repay the lawsuit.